Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today at this media briefing. I am grateful for the opportunity to reach out through you to the people of Sudan. My name is Fatou Bensouda, and I am prosecutor of the International Criminal Court. The victims in Darfur have waited far too long to have justice. Through this historic visit, we hope to mark a new era of cooperation between my office and Sudan towards greater accountability for atrocity crimes. The ICC was established as independent and impartial international court to deal with atrocity crimes, namely war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, and the crime of aggression. My role as prosecutor is to bring justice to those responsible for atrocity crimes, and by doing so, to seek accountability and hope to prevent future crimes. The ICC is a court of last resort, and this means that national justice systems have the primary responsibility to investigate and prosecute individuals who commit such crimes. If this does not happen, then the ICC is there to fail as a fail-side judicial mechanism. My office has been investigating the situation in Darfur, Sudan, since 2005, when the United Nations Security Council resolution, through Resolution 1593, triggered our jurisdiction by referring the situation to the prosecutor of the ICC. And much has happened since then. As we continue our investigations today, it is important that for our work at the ICC, and especially the affected communities of Darfur, that the Sudanese authorities extend their full, sustained, and tangible cooperation to my office. In Khartoum this week, I have engaged in productive meetings with the highest officials of the government of Sudan and other important stakeholders. My program included, notably, meetings with His Excellency Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, His Excellency Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok, His Excellency Mr. Omar Gamaruddin Ismail, Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Mr. Nasruddin Abdel Bari, Minister of Justice, and the Prosecutor General of Sudan, Mr. Taj El-Sir Al-Hibir, and representatives of the Sovereignty Council of Sudan, General Mohammed Hamdan Dagolo, and Mr. Mohammed Hassan Al-Taishi. I also held fruitful discussions with representatives of civil society organizations, international bodies, and the diplomatic corps in Khartoum. Through you, the media, I am pleased to also address the public and affected communities. These meetings have enabled me and my team to explain ICC proceedings and the status of our cases in connection with the situation in Darfur, Sudan, and to chart a course for effective cooperation to bring the suspects against whom ICC warrants have already been issued to bring them to justice. This first historic visit to Khartoum, after more than a decade, provided an opportunity for Sudan's transitional government to demonstrate its commitment to justice, to accountability, and to the rule of law. I am encouraged by the frank and open and constructive exchanges we have had. I particularly welcome the assurances of support and cooperation expressed to me by the authorities during this visit, including from His Excellency Prime Minister Hamdok, committing Sudan to achieve justice for atrocity crimes and to fully collaborate with my office for this purpose. We must now follow through and build on the promising discussions of this week with concrete action. A memorandum of understanding on the modalities of cooperation, technical visits, and immediate access to Sudan by our investigators, amongst other action points, were discussed. and we look forward to making timely progress on all of these items. We count on Sudan's timely cooperation as well as continued constructive engagement with my office. We stand ready to assist Sudan towards the goal of achieving accountability for atrocity crimes committed in Darfur. I want to seize this opportunity to assure the people of Darfur that my office continues to work hard on the Darfur situation. I solemnly call upon all affected Darfuri communities and those who have dedicated themselves to the cause of these communities to come forward and contact my office with the accounts of their sufferings and with the stories of what they have witnessed and what they have endured. My office, together with colleagues in the registry of the court, will soon embark on outreach activities to further explain the work of the ICC and its processes. I wish also to add that I welcome the Juba Peace Agreement, officially signed on the 3rd of October 2020 between the Sovereignty Council and the Sudan Revolutionary Front and other movements, with a view to bring justice to the victims of atrocities that have occurred in Darfur and to build sustainable peace in Sudan. I welcome the importance of the peace agreement that it affords to the ICC and the emphasis placed on cooperation between Sudan and the court in relation to the 5 ICC suspects. I am encouraged by the assurances given by the authorities that full effect will be given to these references and that justice will play a central role in Sudan's transition and the particular importance of the ICC in this ongoing process. The focus of my investigation is on crimes allegedly committed by these 5 suspects between 2003 and 2004, 2007, and as far as Mr. al-Bashir is concerned, up to 2008. In June of this year, the alleged militia leader, Mr. Ali Mohammed Ali Abdulrahman, also known as Ali Khushaib, was transferred to the court following his voluntary surrender. The ICC has outstanding arrest warrants against Mr. Omar al-Bashir, Mr. Ahmed Haroun, Mr. Abdel Rahim Mohammed Hussein, and Mr. Abdallah Banda Abakar Nourain. And these suspects are still wanted for the atrocity crimes listed in their ICC warrants of arrest. They must all face justice without further delay. We look forward to continuing our dialogue with the Sudanese authorities to ensure we make progress on these cases with full respect for our respective roles and mandates and the principle of complementarity. Now that the channels of communication are open and a spirit of cooperation guides our discussions with the Sudanese authorities, we are open to exploring the possibilities in full compliance with our obligations under the Rome Statute and guided by our unflinching commitment to achieving justice for the victims in Darfur. In conclusion, I would like to thank the Sudanese people, the government of the Sudan, and other stakeholders for the warm welcome extended to me and my delegation during this visit. There is an urgent need for justice in Sudan. Sustainable peace and reconciliation are built on the stabilizing pillar of justice. And I thank you for your attention. I look forward to answering your questions and to address any comments you may have. Should I sit?
First question here, please identify yourself and be shorter to the point, please.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Abdullah. Can start now. Thank you so much. My name is Abdullah today. For sure, you have mentioned that ICC is very focusing on bringing justice for all Sudanese victims. But the African Union and some African states have adopted on the cooperation of countries so that we can bring people to justice. So how can you make justice possible with this rejection of African Union and African states? My second question is that, and I will start quoting by justice delayed is justice denied. So you have mentioned that the 5 suspects should face justice without delay. So many people think that ICC has no mechanism to bring people for accountability and responsibility because you are only dependent on people can hand over themselves voluntarily, as we have seen with Banda and Ali Koshe. Thank you.
I'll start with your, I think I should take it one at a time so I can, I'll start with your last question. First and foremost, I do not agree that ICC only depends on people voluntarily surrendering. We have had other cases in which many people were surrendered to the ICC, were transferred to the ICC by states who were willingly cooperating with us. And I can give you several examples. In the Democratic Republic of Congo case, you've seen that DRC has fully cooperated with the ICC and has transferred a few suspects to us. Likewise in the Central African Republic. Also likewise in Mali. So this is not the situation that only people voluntarily surrender. Again, with respect to the African Union and not cooperating with the ICC, I think you're also talking in the past. I believe that we are at a different phase now, and this is why cooperation directly with Sudan is so critically important. And this is why one of my main purposes of coming here is to seek that cooperation. And as you can see, this has been assured, and we are looking forward to a way of moving it forward. So our relationship with the African Union, we will continue to keep open and to also seek cooperation for the African Union. But for the purposes of this situation, the most important partners to cooperate with is the Sudan, and that we have started already.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm Aziz from Reuters. During your visit here in Sudan, do you have reached any deal or any kind of trade which is Bashir and others will adherence?
The purpose, as I said already, of my visit has to seek further cooperation with the Sudan. I think this is the issue of justice has really been very much emphasized in all the discussions that have taken place, that justice must be done, and justice must be done by in the situation in Darfur, Sudan. This was the referral that we received from the UN Security Council to try the cases in Darfur. We have not been able to do it because I don't need to explain, you know what situation existed. Now we are at a different phase. And this is the reason for me to be here, to explore the possibilities. What are the options? Of course, our what we mainly seek is to have the people wanted by the ICC surrendered to the ICC. But these are discussions that have already just opened, and we are going to try and follow them through.
Yes, sir.
Abdul Zahir, Al Jazeera, Kenya. You have a meeting with Muhammad Hamdan Committee, and some people they consider him as one of at least troublemaker in the other parts. What the impression you have after you end up that meeting? And the other question, you may ask to investigate any more Sudanese figures because you are focused now on 5. There is any possibility to ask for more people to Lahai? Thank you.
First and foremost, I know that the meeting with Mr. Hameti, there has been a lot of comments on that. First and foremost, you have to realize that I came to meet with the authorities of the Sudan to explore cooperation. He is there, he's one of them. I think it will be very odd to avoid to meet with him. I'm meeting him in that respect. Again, with respect to the ICC arrest warrants, we have been very clear about the 5 warrants that we have already issued against those who are named in those warrants. At the moment, he's not one of them. And I know, and many people say he allegedly did this and he did that, but ICC does not operate that way. We don't go with just people talking or media talking or pointing fingers. We have to investigate and get our evidence before we move. At the moment, what our concern is the 5 arrest warrants that have been issued. And we want those warrants to be executed. And we are talking about that. Well, the resolution 1593 does not have an end date. But we also need to remember that it was also focused on the conflict in Darfur. It was not extended to other parts of Sudan, unfortunately. So we'll see how we can progress with what we have already, how we can move it forward. But again, to let you know that it is not impossible that we can have other cases, because the resolution does not have a cutoff date, 1593.
Okay, whatever you say, and then you and the ladies.
Yes, she's been.
And then the lady.
Sorry, Roland Hashim, Sudan TV. So you said it's an historic visit, and we understand that you're going to visit Kobe prison. Have you seen the suspects that you're interested in arresting, and what do you have to say on the conditions in which they are arrested? Mm-hmm. And you're also seeking cooperation regarding the case of Al-Abdel Boucher. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that you might be holding further investigations into serving officers within the armed forces? If so, have you had complete guarantees that the government will cooperate with you? Thank you.
First and foremost, let me just set the record straight. I have not been to visit Kobo prison. So the issue of seeing anybody does not arise. I've not been, it's not one of the places that I've visited. With respect to the Ali Khushaib case, he surrendered himself in June of this year. Initial appearances have been held. A date has been set to confirm the charges against him. You will also know that this is the first opportunity that we have had from over a decade to be on the ground. Of course, we do have our charges against him. Of course, we have been able to investigate for arrest warrants to issue. But nothing is the same as being on the ground. To be able to beef up, because we already have evidence, but nothing, it is helpful that we are on the ground to be able to bolster and strengthen our case. So this we want to do as soon as possible, because the confirmation of charges for Ahmed Ali Khushaib is on the 7th of December for the moment. So we are working very hard, and the investigators, we have requested our investigations to be on the ground as soon as possible.
Okay, the lady, and then
we heard some news about that one of the agendas for the ICC visit to Khartoum is to discuss some financial issues with the Sudan government about Ali Khushaib's court. Is it right or not? My second question is, did you find a roadmap with the Sudanese government for the way that Omar al-Bashir and the others will address?
Your first question about finance for Ali Khushaib's case, that is not correct. This is not why we're here. We've not come to discuss or to ask for any money or anything, or to discuss finances about that. That is the responsibility of the ICC. And we are always funded by parties who are states parties to the Rome Statute. We have our budget every year that is negotiated with the states parties, those who belong to the ICC. So if we have a matter, a situation that comes before the ICC, we turn to our budget and we plan for that. But so we did not come to discuss at all issues of financing with the Sudanese government for the trial of Ali Khushaib. With regard to roadmap, as I said in my briefing, this is the beginning. This is the beginning after over a decade of trying to start that case. This is the beginning, and this is the first time that we even have the opportunity to speak with Sudanese authorities. And we've started that. Indeed, it's a roadmap that we have to follow. But we've just started, and so far, as I also said in the statement, we have seen and noted a level of commitment to see that justice is done. But it will not just happen right away. What I mean is the process will not just happen right away. It needs discussion, and we are already engaged on that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Abdelmonem Abdelis. I'm from Agency France Press. During this visit, you mentioned that you want to do investigation on the ground in Darfur. Is this investigation concern only Kosheb case or others? And do you reach any agreement with the government that when this will take place?
First and foremost, I want to just remind you that the entire situation of the conflict in Darfur is what was referred to the ICC by the UN Security Council. And since our work began, we have been able to request for the issuance of several arrest warrants. So, and a case would really start progressing when we have the body before the ICC, because we don't do trial in absentia. So it is now Ali Khosheb who has transferred, who is surrendered to the ICC, and his case is starting. That doesn't mean that we are not pursuing the other cases which we already also have warrants of arrest against. So we are pursuing all of them, looking into all of them. And as I said, for the first time, we have an opportunity to strengthen further our evidence. And for me, this is important. And this is something that I've already put to the Sudanese authorities.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
We have been told by the Sudanese Minister of Justice yesterday that the government of Sudan discussed 3 options with the ICC. Would you please uncover these options and which is close to the ICC standards legally and practically? Secondly, are you going to establish a field or kind of delegation here in Sudan in the next weeks or a month?
With respect to the first one, regarding the options, I mean, the Sudanese authorities have informed me that they are looking at various things, including trial in Sudan itself, including the option of a hybrid tribunal or a special court. These are some of the things that they are thinking about, which we have discussed. But I have also clarified that whatever the case may be, it has to be within the confines of the Rome Statute. So, as I said, discussions have started. Nothing has yet been concretized. The discussions have started. We are seeing what is possible and what is not possible, because we cannot really engage in something that are outside of the confines of the Rome Statute. So these discussions are ongoing. And I have explained it's the very preliminary stages of those discussions, and we hope to follow through with concrete action. Sir?
Any other questions? Any other question? No other questions?
No, I think there was the second question of whether we are sending representatives. Sorry? Establishing the office. Well, this is another area, another part of the court that will do that. That is the registry, not the office of the prosecutor. But I am sure it will be very helpful for us to have some form of presence in the Sudan. So this is, again, I keep repeating, it's a first visit, and we also have to go back and speak with those who are responsible for that. But in the meantime, we're also seeking to have my investigators on the ground as soon as possible.
No further questions? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Yes,
identify yourself.
I'm just taking a break because I just yes, Mohammed Amin from Bloomberg. My first question, I mean, you know, there are current cases, in addition to the current cases, I mean, before the court. Is your office planning to investigate the continuing violations that, you know, there are still continuing violations in the region of Darfur under the court jurisdiction that we are still having for Darfur? Also, considering the volume of evidences that you have and witnesses, do you have effective witness protection in place? You know that there are some reports talking about the lack of witnesses protection of the court. Finally, is the court going forward in the current cases of violations that UNAMID has reported and other NGOs and other international NGOs? Thank you.
I'll take your first and last question. I think they are somehow interconnected. And perhaps if you were here before, I have answered sort of a similar question already. And what I did say was that I refer back to Resolution 1593, which referred the case of Sudan, Darfur, Sudan, in the first instance to the ICC. That resolution, 1593, does not have an end date. It talked about the conflict in Darfur at the time. Of course, we do know that, and I have mentioned it in my statement, that at least up to 2008, we have investigated those crimes that have occurred. We are not saying that we will not investigate any further or any more. That's not what we are saying. I just want to emphasize that our focus now is to make sure that at least the work you have done and requested for warrants, and those warrants have issued, at least let us focus on that for now and try to get those who are wanted by the ICC before the court to try those cases. It's not stopping our investigations from continuing. This is what I have explained before. I think that's the second question was
witness protection.
Witness protection. That is very important. It's critical. And we have seen in our cases that the court has to have a solid witness protection program in place. And we do our best. At the moment, I mean, as it is the registry again that is in charge of witness protection, not the Office of the Prosecutor or the defense. One of the ideas that we have discussed during my several meetings is also to facilitate for the registry to also come on the ground to look into issues of witness protection, but also to do outreach and also to explain the entire process. So this is also something that has been discussed, and the registry also stands ready to come and look into those issues.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. The copies of the statement here, please avail yourself. They are both in Arabic and English. So please feel free to quote from them, from those statements, and use them as your reference point for accurate.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.